All right, here we are, day 6 of Sesshin, the last final full day of Sesshin, in a wonderful deep retreat. And so we're on day 4 of Song of the Grass-Roof Hermitage, and we're going to meet the vast source and the undying person today. Over the past 3 talks, we've built Sekitō's hut. We've sat in it. We've allowed the weeds to grow. We watched them overtake the garden, and we found peace and simply being with what arises. And yesterday, we took up our abode in that peace, that rest that follows striving, the quiet beauty of what's just right here, the deep humility of not knowing, and the joy that comes from letting go. And now in this final part of the talk, we'll turn the light inward. This is where the realization becomes embodied in everyday life, where enlightenment and ordinariness aren't 2 different things. Sekitō picks up with, turn around the light to shine within, and then just return. The poem's taking a decisive turn from some notion of outward to the inward vastness of mind. And as we'll see, when we turn the light that way, both inward and outward dissolve. As we go about our daily business, it's easy to get stuck on the event horizon, the place that we see is the focus outward in all directions, where we perceive everything is happening. We live as if our attention were fixed at the rim of some spinning world, with I at the center, and we're constantly reacting to what's out there. But Sekitō's instruction is to reverse that motion. Turn the light around and look into the source. In practice, this means awareness turning back on itself, seeing not just thoughts and sensations, but the luminous space from which they all arise. When we turn the light around, we stop chasing our experiences, and we begin to see the mind that actually is doing the experiencing. And then both drop away. We realize we've been looking at really a reflection of our lived activity, rather than the true event horizon. And he says, just return. And not return to where we were before, or something ideological. Return to the ordinary. Return to our breath, or contact with the cushion, the sound of a crackling bonfire. This turning is the same gesture after coming home after having wandered for some time. We say it's simple, but in a way it's also very dramatic. We show up and recognize that it's never been apart from us. It's never left, and yet we seem distant. Sekitō goes on to say, the vast, inconceivable source can't be faced or turned away from. This is the fullness of the moment, the fullness of the present infinite. It's always accessible. It's always present. And it's Sekitō's poetic way of trying to put a name on something that can't be named, trying to name the ineffable, that from which all things arise and to which all things return. We can't face it because we are it. And we can't turn away from it because there's nowhere else to go. This is the living truth of our existence, beyond any notion of duality, or non-duality for that matter. If you try to put your finger in the source, if you try to plug it, if you in a place, in a doctrine, in a person, it just slips through the cracks. But when you simply rest in your awareness itself, the vast, inconceivable source shines through everything, every speck of dust, every crack here in the floor, every grain of sand. Sekitō's vision is not some abstract philosophy. It's the exact opposite. It's the living ground of our direct experience. It's the feeling of sitting quietly and realizing that even our doubt belongs. Even our weariness, even all of our questions, all of our longings, all of it's a part of the vast source that can't be faced or turned away from. And when we stop searching, and the way arrives, it reveals itself. It was never actually hidden. Meet the ancestral teachers. Be familiar with their instruction. Bind grasses to build a hut. And don't give up. Now the teaching comes home, literally. This is not a solitary enlightenment. It's a continuation of a lineage that stretches back through all awakened beings of all times, all spaces. Each of us, every day we practice meditation in the way we've received through instruction, trods the path that our ancestral teachers have worn so well and continue to wear right now. It honors the vast continuity of practice. Every time you sit down to meditate, every time you offer a bow, every time you help someone who's fallen, encourage somebody who has lost their way, binding grasses with the ancestors. You're appearing in the world in that hut that you've built out of things that are at hand. Not once, but endlessly. The hut is intentionally not permanent. Of course it weathers, it leaks, it decays. And so we rebuild. We practice, we fall down, we get up again. Don't give up. Don't give up. As we become more acquainted with our true nature, it changes the very essence of our life. The structure of our lives change. And we just keep binding grasses as life requires to support our practice, to appear in this world of forms as the medicine, as a way that points the way home. This is the practice of renewal, not perfection. Even in awakening itself is impermanent. Although you're all perfect just as you are, you could all use a little of maintenance too. Yeah? And when your energy wanes, remember the advice you once received before taking the precepts. All of you were encouraged or asked multiple times if you were going to maintain them. Keep practicing. Keep showing up. Don't give up. That's the whole of the way. That's the whole of this practice. Sekitō adds, let hundreds of years go and relax completely. Every time you encounter this line, just take a deep exhale. You can feel the release in it. A way of liberation. Each of us has a very complex relationship with time. You're connected with every point in space and time, like diamonds reflecting the entire universe. But if you try to express it, if you try to carry it, it becomes too heavy. But if you just put down the idea of it, when you cease from being entangled in memory and projection, worrying about the future and regretting the past, all of a sudden the lightness emerges. And you can feel that pack being put down. Let hundreds of years go doesn't mean to forget history. Doesn't mean to renounce responsibility. Quite the opposite. It means you stop measuring your life by some external yardstick and start stepping into it directly, right now, right here. Everything is complete. And it's important that we actually relax completely, not halfway, not as some idea or concept, not someday when we have all the conditions arise that make it perfect, a perfect time in which to do so. That perfect time is right here, right now, completely. And the moment you do that, compassion flows naturally. The lens of compassion is focused squarely on all the suffering that manifests itself. And there's no distortion anymore through all of your fixed ideas of how things should be. You see precisely what needs to be done. You become what needs to be done. This place is not separate from time. It's freedom within time. The years will still go by, but they don't define you. And when you meet the one who's timeless, you'll recognize that no amount of time can prevent you from showing up like you need to show up in this very moment. Open your hands and walk, innocent. What a direct expression of the Bodhisattva's way. We conduct ourselves with open hands, grasping nothing, fully available to apply ourselves and to meet the needs of any given situation. Open hands mean there's nothing to defend. There's also nothing to attack, nothing to acquire, nothing to give up. We walk innocent when we walk through the world without contrivance. Not suggesting that we're being naive, but we're certainly being undefended. This is the mind of a child almost, the mind of the beginner, the mind of wonder. That's the awakened mind. Innocence means we have no grievances, no scores to settle. And so we do no harm. When we walk innocent, we meet each moment without weaponry. We're able to trust the Dharma, trust it enough to stop armoring ourselves. Stop clinging to something that we have to protect. This is the perfection in Bodhisattva conduct. It's not idealized virtue. There's enough of that in the world. But it's a natural gait of one who's put everything down and who's able to walk freely. Doesn't matter what our day brings, driving, speaking, working. We walk with open hands. Go easy. Go generously. Go undefended. Allow yourself to be perfectly vulnerable, be perfectly moved by the situation. And in a way now, even the hut itself dissolves. We find ourselves squarely right where we stand. Sekitō's done a lot of talking. So he says, thousands of words, myriad interpretations, are only to free you from obstructions. I think he's almost stepping back and smiling at what he's written. After all this writing, all these lines, your mind says the words are only pointers. The truths that this points to are freely available. You don't have to worry about scribbling down notes. This practice imperative shows up in every moment. The literary artifacts produced are really just pointers. We can't cling to our books. We can't hide in them. The beauty is in applying them to the wonderful koan that each one of you has, that is your life. That's the point. The whole poem, every sermon, every sutra, the rafts across the river. Don't mistake the raft for the shore. The hut is not the truth. It's the place from which we bear witness of the truth. And when you do, the words fall away naturally. In your own life, this means letting the teachings breathe, letting them function freely. Don't hold them as possessions or some sort of merit in and of themselves. This Dharma is not of any private interpretation. It doesn't belong to anyone. It lives in the space between self and other, good and bad, and knits them together whole. Thousands of words, myriad interpretations, all of them pointing to the current infinite present moment and beckon us to step into our life. Not some idea of what it would be like to step into our life, not some idea of what we think our life should be, but actually stepping into our life as it is. And just in case we wonder where that step leads, or where it points, or what it includes, or what it excludes, we all have fantasies of this dropping away of body and mind being, in particular, dropping away our body, particularly as we begin to age. But Sekitō admonishes us, if you want to know the undying person in the hut, don't separate from this skin bag here and now. The undying person in the hut is always right before you. The entire journey is always led here to the recognition of awakening, and that it's not somewhere else or someone else. It's in this very life, in this very body, in this very breath. Even when that breath is labored, or is coughing, or has us tripping or falling, or when we have surgery to fix it. The undying person isn't an immortal soul. It's the awareness that was present well before birth and won't perish with death. It's not otherworldly. It's very commonly worldly. It's going in and out through the gates of your eyes and ears and nose right now. You have to meet that one. Don't separate from the skin bag. Don't reject the body. Don't despise the ordinary. This fragile form, sweating, aging, breathing, is a perfect vessel of awakening. We often divide ourselves on how we look, but in the end, our skin bag is merely the seat of our senses. With it, we're able to focus our attention on this very moment. When you stop seeking the divine in some notion of perfection or something outside of our frail human form, we discover it was never separate. The undying person is not hidden inside the body. It is the body, fully alive, fully aware. So don't push anything outside of the realm of your conscious awareness. Don't separate into good and bad, old and young, here and there, now and forever. Right here, right now. This is that eternity. And with that, the poem closes where it began. I've built a grass hut where there's nothing of value. And yet, by the end, we recognize that contains the entire universe. We've started with simplicity, delved into vastness, moved from vastness to steadiness, from the steadiness to not knowing, and from this not knowing into embodiment. Each verse is a step deeper into the ground where we stand. Turn the light inward. Relax completely. Open your hands. Release all the prisoners from the jail cells of your mind and live innocently. Don't separate from this skin bag, this brief shining miracle that we call our life. Then you'll meet the undying one, not as someone else, but as the one right here bearing witness to your awakening. They've been here all along.